you doing, Cliff?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. Good to see you.
Turn my mic up and
Yeah.
everything.
Look like you got younger there, young man.
Trying,
Well, I
trying to
try.
age like a fine bottle of wine.
But nah. All right, everybody. So again, welcome to the show, Morning with Movers. We got we got the team back in the building. So we
Yes,
got
sir.
Bill Diamond, all about moving. I'm moving Tampa Bay. We got Clifford Starks, the business fighter. Let's get it.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
Doing
But
good.
Can you hear me?
I
yeah.
can.
So yeah, what's been going on? What's new?
10%. Oh, I'm doing good, guys. We've been busy. Busy season, busy. I've been out in the field working quite a bit myself personally. Here in the last 3 weeks. No customer left behind. It's my motto.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's scheduled, it's got to happen.
Okay. What about yourself, Cliff?
I am enjoying this journey. The consulting, the marketing mastery that I'm going through. Learning how to effectively bring the right people in, attract the right people in, and detract the wrong people as you go on your business journey, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. That's what business is all about at the end of the day, and creating raving fans. So I'm getting better and better at that process, and getting better and better at helping others go through that process too.
Okay. Yeah, no, it actually just started getting like extremely busy for me over here. So I've been loving it. Obviously it's a matter of, still ain't enough time in the day to get everything done, but it's definitely one of those good feelings and everything like that. I believe, give me 1 second. So we are having a special guest today, but obviously they're running a little behind. So when they hopefully hop in here, I don't even know. You know what? I ain't even gonna go down that road. Uh, so with that being said, no, so yeah, the season, like I said, the season is in full effect, everyone. So just making sure, like I said, you still have your stuff dialed in. If you still ain't busy right now, hey, what are you doing? What is it that isn't working? What more could you be doing? And this is a roller coaster. This business is a roller coaster, and we talked about this several weeks back. How 1 week you could be really good, and you're like, oh shit, we busy, and that's that good feeling for the owner. And then the next week you die off again, and then your emotions are like, God damn, where uh, we were busy. Like, we started making all these plans. We started making, we was going to invest in this. We was going to get this. We was going to get this. And then we got hit with the slowness again. And then we got hit with the busyness again. And it sucks. This emotional roller coaster for this industry really does suck. But, it's one of those things we signed up for. We signed that unknown contract for. But yeah, so yeah, Cliff. So yeah, tell us. I know last week we talked about your book. How's that going?
Yeah, it's coming along really well. As I'm going through the process, and I do. I love how you mentioned the roller coaster in the moving industry, because that same roller coaster happens in fighting as well. And
Mm-hmm.
in order to get better at avoiding the punch, it's about leaning into the punch, not about backing away from the punch. Because you back away, you're getting knocked out for sure. And when
Mm-hmm.
you figure out, like, okay, when I lean into things, and I know me and Phil have talked. Phil's a powerhouse. You're a powerhouse too, Dwight. Um, Life's a bitch. Like, it's hard. It's a hard game. Some people know that they're stepping into an arena every time they touch their feet to the ground, and some people don't. Some people never realize that until after uh, their life's about to end. Um, but life's about leadership. you know, being the best leader that you can be. And once you lean into the punch, you start seeing your potential. You start understanding it. When you understand it, there are no roller coasters. There are no storms. The storms become afraid of you. You know, the roller coaster is just a ride. That's all it is. And there are going to be highs and there are going to be lows. But you get the choice of how you're going to perceive the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You lean in, you can't be stopped. You become unstoppable. When you're unstoppable, you make other people want to be unstoppable too.
Yeah, no, I love that energy.
Yeah.
So Phil, where that pork chop at that you was supposed to be sharing?
Man, I had old croissant this morning, boy.
Did you warm it up?
Been cutting back on my my belly there, man.
Did you warm the croissant up?
I don't know. That whole calorie cutting thing where people like, yeah, I'm cutting calories, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, yo, you know, this banana got like 50 something in it. They're like, mofo, if you don't eat that damn banana and stop counting.
Right. But look, talk about counting calories, but look. And hey, then y'all have to go back and look at. I came up with a new contraption last night, right? Man, hot sauce and pork rinds go good together. Just the plain ones, right? But what you got to try is hot sauce and barbecue pork rinds, man.
That don't sound remotely healthy.
It don't.
All right. Brother, I'm going to teach you how to eat. All right, I'm going to teach you how to eat. I got your back. I'm going to support you in this. We're going to do this right.
I don't say, barbecue pork rinds and hot sauce with Mountain Dew. Hold on. Brother, we want to see you living a little bit. Oh, man. It's funny, man. You know, we have to we fall short every now and again to whatever our weaknesses are. I think everybody in life does, whether they're on a carb diet, they're saying that I'm going to stop smoking cigarettes, I'm going to stop drinking or something, and unfortunately, we backtrack every now and again, no matter what it may be, or I'm not going to use any profanity no more, or I'm going to cut back on my profanity. There's a lot of different ways of missing our goal.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would say,
I'm gonna say you're amazing, and there is a lot of ways to miss the goal. There's also a lot of ways to hit the goal too. And just like you get that nice shave because you get that nice money, it's a frequency.
Right.
When we play on the right frequency, we win. That's the name of the game. And sometimes we beat ourselves up too much. So like the pork rinds, the Mountain Dew, respect. You're doing what you need to do. But if we change the way we think about certain things, we'd be surprised what we can do. You've already shocked the world several times, brother. And you still need to write that book too, because I've heard your story. You were badass.
Shoot, and the title better be hot sauce with barbecue pork rinds.
Barbecue pork rinds and Mountain Dew.
Man.
That'd be an interesting read.
All right, guys. So we do have our guest in the building. Finally, we got Collin with Relocation Engineer out in Canada. So let's welcome him in finally.
Hey.
Hey, Collin.
Hey, good sir. Can you hear us?
Hey.
No, we can't hear you yet.
How's that rig, eh?
Oh, there it goes.
Your audio's kicking in.
Yeah, the audio. Yep, there it goes.
There it goes. Bit of a crazy morning today.
This man is mobile today.
Yeah, I had to go pick up a rental, so that's why I was late.
Oh yeah, no, I don't miss those fun mornings.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Welcome.
Yes. Now,
So I don't know if you met the bunch, but I think you've seen Phil's podcast one
yes.
time. So no, so yeah, we were just talking about, just random stuff for the most part, but yeah, tell us how everything's been going with your company out there in Canada.
Canada is a gold mine. It's been good, man. We're 14 months in now, and we're moving along. We just bought our second truck, and it's been good. July, May was the best month we ever had. June was better than that, and July is just an absolute shit show right now for us.
Okay,
But
shit show in a good way though.
in a good way, I welcome it. I mean, I tend to perform. I think a lot of us business owners are high earners. We tend to perform better under pressure.
Man, I was just having this conversation with somebody yesterday about this. With the backs against the wall, boy.
Yeah. We our average move value in July is like something crazy, like $4,500 or something. Like it's nuts.
Nice.
No, like I was talking with a friend the other day, and we were talking about like rates and stuff, and they're like, yeah, we pretty much charge the same thing, rate wise. And I'm like, okay, so what's your, like, we started talking about minimums or whatever the case is, and he was like, oh yeah, my minimum, even though we have almost similar hourly rate, our minimum is like almost $400. I'm like, whoa, we don't charge the same thing. There's no way.
No.
My minimum is like 900.
Yeah.
And I hopped on the sales calls the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing something, important. I'm doing something good, hopping back on sales, doing all this other stuff. And then I gave the first couple of customers a quote, and I'm like, God damn, these prices are kind of high, and I got to remind myself not to sell my pockets, but, just sell what the value of the service is.
Yeah, it's always important to sell value. It's the most important thing, especially if you're different than other moving companies, right? Like we're so different. I don't even charge by the hour anymore, man. So
you're doing flat rate moving?
We're doing flat rates, yeah, but it's it was a little tricky to get it down in the beginning. You got to sort of learn. It's different, right? Because you got to learn to pitch it different, and you got to be like way more accurate, and but there's we charge a premium for it, man. And like the biggest selling feature is moving companies come in and lowball you to get your business, and then the price doubles.
Gotcha. So what is that conversation like with the customer when you're pitching the flat rate?
I've always taken like a more of like an educational approach than like a salesy approach. So we just, I have a PowerPoint presentation on my iPad. So when I go in the home to give a survey, I give the customer my iPad, and then I sort of walk through like the presentation. So it shows our trucks, it shows that our trucks are clean, it shows our movers in uniform, it shows mattress bags on mattresses. I basically tell a story to all the customers, and then we walk them through the process of what they can expect, and what's going to happen on the day of the move. And we go in like fine detail. We're like, you'll get a text message at 8:00 saying the movers are leaving. If they're late, they're going to give you a call to let you know they're late. And we just really try to make them feel comfortable from the get-go, and really set our teams up for success. I think when you do it that way and you lay out the expectations for everybody, the customer, us, it just makes the move day that much smoother. But then the key is getting these guys to execute it, right? Because if they don't execute what we're saying, then we kind of look like we don't know what we're doing or what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, that sales to operation consistency is what they talk about.
Yeah. I spend about an hour in each people's home for like the surveys. And then we go through it, and then it's just a conversation. I think my conversion's really high. Like I'm at 85% once I'm in the home. And we just, I guess the secret to it is I believe that any two people in this world have at least one thing in common. And it's my job to find that stuff in common. Hold on, my wife is here. Have a good day.
Okay, you too.
Okay.
There's 4. I brought 2 kings and 4
Okay.
queens.
Cool. Yeah, so I believe if any two people will have at least one thing in common. And if you can find that thing in common, the customer is more likely to trust you, which ultimately means they're going to use you, right?
Okay. Yeah, we don't get very many we don't get very many physical on sites going on in our neck of the woods, or it's not something we offer as often. Most quotes. Well, we found that most quotes we can do virtual. We do a lot of virtual estimates now. And we also, I started learning something very new this year where I've always known about quoting by inventory, but I've never been a big fan of quoting by inventory because I always feel like these customers are being dishonest and not telling me the whole story.
Yeah.
And they always, obviously, they're not going to mention the fan. They're not going to mention the bags, all the bags. They're not going to mention all of this stuff. And we try to even avoid moving bags, like garbage bags and stuff.
Right.
You say, hey, that got to go in a box or something. But it's one of those things where it's just they're not 100% honest. So it's what's that gap of cubes that you throw on top of that dishonesty?
Right.
So we just said, you know what we're going to start doing is we're going to do a virtual. We're going to send them a link. They can record the home, and then we'll match it up with the inventory they gave to us over the phone.
Right.
So actually, like I said, within the last week or so, just started practicing quoting with the inventory. We've been like I said, we've always been accurate to the point where we've always been in that 0.10 range, 10% over the estimate or 10% below the estimate. So I never the system ain't broken, I'm not gonna fix it. But now it's hey, we're now quoting off the inventory, so we're getting a little more accurate. It's a different approach, and it definitely builds that value and builds that conversation with the customer. And I think that's important for closing the deal.
Yeah.
Because you definitely don't want to get them a quote within 5-10 minutes. Otherwise, they're going to run around and try to get more quotes.
Well, I get that. That makes sense. And that so because we do the flat rating, that's we kind of have to go and see. I can't rely on what a customer says if I'm flat rating a job. So and I feel like you build a better rapport when you're face to face with them.
Yeah,
but it's time consuming, right?
It definitely is, especially going to every customer house.
Well, we only go to 2 bedrooms and up. I won't go do an on-site for a 1-bedroom condo, but we also don't do a lot of those smaller jobs.
So would you say that your 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom quote is equated to a 3 or 4 hour move, or how would you equate it?
I think that in this the average 1-bedroom apartment generally takes 5 to 6 hours, right? And then
depending on where. That must be a New York City move.
Well, remember Toronto has a lot of the condos are stupid out here, right? A lot of these buildings, man, there's a lot of challenges with access. So it takes there's this one building here. I think they have one in New York too, the Shangri-La, and it's an absolute shit show. It's a 2.5 kilometer walk from the truck to the elevator, and when you're in the apartment, when you're on the floor of the apartment, every second unit has a door to sort of keep the noise out for the residents, but you're not allowed to keep it open during the move. So
that sounds fun.
Oh, it's a nightmare, some of these buildings, right? And you know how it goes, right? They don't plan for movers when they're building these buildings. Most of the time our loading dock is in the garbage room, right? So but yeah, and then, you know, a 2-bedroom apartment, anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. And then, you know, 26-foot full truck, 10,000 pounds. Generally, we get it done in anywhere from 8 to 10 hours, depending on the access.
That's why your average move price is crazy, because it's just like, dang, the normal move that should take like 3-4 hours, and people stop. I mean, now it takes like 6 to 8 hours. And you're just like,
Yeah.
oh man, like, hey, I'll let it rack up.
Yeah, but we also, like, we have a standard where everything, like, it also takes time prepping everything. Like, everything is wrapped. You know, we provide the TV boxes and art boxes, like all of that stuff. We take, you know, TVs off walls for people. Like, it's more of like a boutique with us,
Yeah, no, that's
right?
awesome. It's just definitely, if that's a culture starting from the owner, it's one of those things where it makes it just that much better. And you expect that, you hold your guys to that level of service.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things I've always admired, like the different perspectives of these different owners. What's your take, Cliff? You've been over there
Yeah,
quiet.
Colin, I'm actually really curious. How do you get your leads? Because it sounds like you being a higher end premium service, you only work with the best of the best type of
Yeah.
customers too.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's about 90% of our business. Like, I also move like single mothers on welfare. Like, we have a contract with a company that deals with people with mental health. So
Hmm.
we move like all those people, and like, it's not always it's mostly the high end moves, but we're grateful for everything that comes in. I think there's a couple components to that. Yeah, sure, I just started this business 14 months ago, but I've been in like executive leadership roles for the last 15 years at moving companies, right?
Mm.
So I have relationships that have brought over to my company. Things like the Toronto Raptors, right? Like, we move the players and the coaches and their families and stuff like that. And this is the fourth company that they followed me to. So
Nice.
a lot of it has to do with like just who I am in the industry and what I've accomplished over the last 15 years. And then, now, like in the beginning, when I just started this business, we weren't doing any marketing, but now we're doing marketing. So we're on Google, we're on Facebook, and then there's a couple, I guess, like the equivalent of like, what's in the States, like Angie's List, something like
Mhm.
that. So there's like a couple companies like that are, it's whatever. You pay $8 a lead, and, you don't get a hold of half the people that come in, but you get some good jobs out of it. And, so it's really just a combination of a lot of things. But I think it really boils down to just providing good service, because word of mouth is the best form of advertising, right? Like, we can, I have the contacts. If I wanted to, I could spend the money and put, our logo in the in the Scotiabank Arena, like where the Toronto Raptors play. But if my guys aren't executing, then it doesn't really matter,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
we need
Gotcha.
to, these guys need to be executing. Sorry, as I'm so busy this morning, I'm gonna grab my car. I had to get a rental. I got one of my guys to drive my car down here. It's been a little bit of
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. No, we actually were trying to do the whole hometown dominator approach as well. Get affiliated with the local baseball team and kind
yeah.
of go from there. So I'm trying to find
Take
that
one of the guys.
connection to get in the door
They're all there.
with that. Hopefully don't have to go there in the direction of putting my banner up on their field, because obviously that's a whole nother marketing
Yeah.
thing. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, who's that point of contact? Try to get out there where I don't have to necessarily beat the pavement, but I can make that connection with that connection. So I'm trying to join. Maybe I might look to join the chambers of commerce to get started and go to these, free networking events to try to see who can lead me to the next spot or next level of growth.
I think, like, and you're a pretty charismatic guy, right? And for me, like I'm not afraid, bro. Like I talk to anybody, right? Like that's how I even got the whole Raptors thing. Like this was like 10 years ago. I was going to do an on-site, and I was driving by a mall in Toronto, and I noticed that one of the Raptor players was signing basketballs. So I was like, oh, like I should go get some balls, get them signed, because most of my staff like basketball. It'd be like a cool thing to give away, right, to the staff. And his PR lady was there, and I just, no fear, gave her my card and said, I'd love to service you guys. And within a week, she called us, and one of the players was moving. And it
Yes.
just the relationship just fostered from there, right? And but it always goes back to like good service. Like they know that they can rely on us. They know that we're going to send top quality movers out there. They know that if there's a problem, we're going to take care of it, right? And it's continuing to foster that relationship, because that's what it's about, right? Like it's really just about relationships. Look, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, bro. I'm a high school dropout, right? But I know how to talk,
Now I hear that.
right?
And
Like,
no, that's awesome. Like, and like you said, that's all about, sometimes being in the right place at the right time.
right place, right
Um,
time, right?
so Cliff, what other marketing things you've been working on?
Honestly, just as you talk about time, timing, and positioning, and I'm listening to Collin over here, and there's so many factors behind a system and how a system works.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the small things matter, it's everything matters. So he said he
Everything.
was in executive leadership for 15 years. And so some people might go like, "Oh, he got a couple lucky breaks." No, he didn't. It's
No.
what you do day in and
Yeah.
day out. And so for 15 years and the talking, I got to say you are the smartest guy in the room, and this is why you're the smartest Colin in the room. Just as
Right.
Dwight's the smartest Dwight in the room, and Clifford's the smartest Clifford in the room. Um, and I think sometimes we beat ourselves up too much. People actually don't go into those rooms that are really, really intimidating because they're thinking they're not enough. They are enough. Go into
Yeah.
the biggest rooms. Go into
Go
the
in there.
rooms where people are making it happen.
Go in there.
That's what's helped me on my entrepreneurial journey. And I'll tell you, I felt like a high school kid, like on a football team. If there was the NFL, the college, and high school, I felt like a high school kid going into that room. And I was gonna go in and day out because I knew what I was gonna get for doing that.
That's right. That's right.
And that's the name of the game is you go in
That's right.
there and you face your fears. You
That's
do
right.
it day in and day out, and you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't know up from down. You don't know shit.
I'll make it work though.
But you start figuring
But
it out. You start
yeah,
putting the pieces
yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah. We had
Yeah.
a job. I posted in the group on on Facebook there. I booked a job yesterday, and I don't usually get rattled. Like we're pretty good at what we do. But this job like has me nervous. Like there's about a $500,000 in art. He's got all these like little stupid wooden like African like voodoo dolls that are like $50,000 each, and they're all made in the 18th century. And it's like, yo, I don't really get intimidated, but this move has me a little rattled. But the key to it is like clear communication with the staff, right? Like
Mhm.
we this move isn't happening till the end of July, and I'm already talking to my key guys about it and about what the plan is and about how we're going to attack it and what we're going to do to make sure this is a successful move, because look, man, I've overseen over 25,000 moves in my career. Like I do this, right? And this is probably one of the most difficult moves we've ever completed. Now I'm charging them for it. I'm going to make my money, but this guy's got like thrones from mid 18th century Africa. made out of wood, hand carved thrones.
Mm.
Like it's
Well, how does the valuation work in Canada?
so we don't so the standard, like the industry standard is 60 cents a pound, right?
Okay.
But we don't deal with the 60 cents a pound at all, just because like most of my clients are high profile. So I can't like, if a $5,000 piece of art gets damaged, I can't go to them and be like, here's $5, right?
Mm.
So we actually took out like a premium cargo insurance. I think it's either 250 or 300,000 per truck.
Mm.
And if any damage that happens, we repair, replace, compensate, or worst case scenario, go through insurance. So I had a conversation with this guy about that, just basically saying like, look, my insurance doesn't go that high. I can probably get it to go that high for this move, but it's going to cost you. It's better that we, if anything does happen, we'll go through your home insurance, because he has it all covered under his home insurance. And we'll pay the deductible if something, God forbid, if something happens. But I don't anticipate it. Like we've been pretty good like with the damages, like our damages, and keep in mind, like I'm paying it out. I'm not doing 60 cents a pound. Like I'm straight compensating people. We're under 1% of our revenue. Like we're well under. We're at like a 0.5%. So
That's where everyone should be at.
yeah. So we just, like I don't hire. I'm slow to hire, man. Like I don't. I would much rather have the right people. Like, yeah, we've grown crazy in the first 14 months. Like it's unbelievable how much revenue we've done. And I could have done more. I don't want to just send bodies out and just to get jobs done. So, we just brought on a new guy that I've known for 10 years. He's amazing. He's starting today, actually, and we're trying to build the right way, because you can build fast. I could have done double what I did, but how many bad reviews would I have had online? How many claims would I have had? I care so much about quality that like literally nothing else matters to me. It's literally quality over everything for me.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. So how many crews are you running?
So right now I have 7 like full-time employees. And then I have like 6 guys that I can call on in a pinch. Like they're not really movers. They're like just friends of mine, but they like will come and help. Like I got one of them today. Like the guy doesn't even need to work. Like he's a professional basketball player. And he just like he's like 6'8" and just like comes out and like helps because, and I need them. And like they're not like, the expectation for those guys, like my friends, like just run boxes, look busy. Like I'm not expecting you to like go and move a piano. Like I got my main guys that will do that right. So, and they're good. Like they have good attitudes. They're just, they're good. They're not movers, but they're good on like a 5-man move to add them as like the 5th guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
it's good, man. Like we're good. I got my next buddy. He's gonna start with me over the summer. He's a personal trainer, right? And he just like he has his own business, but he's like, yo, you need help? Like I'll come in 2 or 3 days a week. So it's helping us grow. And like, we're providing jobs for the community. So that's a good thing too.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know, I think Phil was trying to join back in after disappearing on us. But no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so I know we've been going over digging, drilling, marketing and everything like that. Obviously you and Phil, y'all bring to the table that culture, like, mindset when it comes to making sure that, you keep your employees happy, even though that goes to a certain extent where, you got to make sure that they're not trying to run over you, all over you. And I think Phil, you could hit on that pretty good with, with that whole issue with the employees.
Yeah. Well, as I go through business, man, I realize a lot with trying to keep friendship and business separated. As you know, and Dwight know, and Clifford know, a lot of my guys have been with me for several years, long time. And I'm always making sure, that everyone is getting the appropriate hours that they need weekly, but then you start dealing with inconsistent guys of not showing up, calling in late every day. It becomes very tricky at that point to say, okay, I know this guy's got, a 12-hour day on Monday. Let me give him Tuesday off and work, this guy, switching it out a little bit. That way you're not burning up one guy. Next thing bam. Hey, man, I can't make it today. Why? I don't know. Just because, not saying that someone would say that, but, that's where we've been struggling at there, just with the guys, not staying consistent with the schedule, and my guys are pretty reliable. I got a few that's not, but the whole goal is to try to keep everyone happy as much as possible to a certain degree. I'm big on people pleasing, man. I want to be the best. I want to be the best moving company. I want to be the best paying moving company. I want to be the most expensive moving company. My mindset is a little bit different than some. Down here in Florida, man, it's expensive, man, to live here. And I hear guys calling looking for a job, and some moving companies paying like $15 an hour. You can't pay a grown man $15 an hour, man. I just don't feel comfortable with that.
Me either.
And I can't. I don't feel, and I'm big on karma. Now, if a guy's worth $15 an hour, that's what he's worth. But if a man is showing up for work every day and doing the job the best of his ability, especially out in this brutal heat, the man's worth. I mean, I think sometimes us as business owner, we almost put a dollar sign on top of our guy's head. I just had a long discussion with one of my employees that's been with me since he was 17. And last night, and a long heart to heart, I treat this guy like he's my son, and he kind of looks at me as his father. Of course, it's more disappointments than anger. Like if he does something wrong, if something gets damaged or something, dude, this guy will beat himself up for 3 damn weeks, dude, over a $4 mirror, whatever the case may be. But, if you don't have happy employees, you're not going to have a happy business. Very, very simple. Not just in the moving industry, in any industry, people work to make money. Everyone should be profitable when it comes to out here. I don't think either one of you guys are, like affiliated with any like large corporations where your business is, like a Van Lines or something like that, where it's all corporate. I think all of us are pretty much family owned and operated to a certain degree. Our standards is going to be a lot different. A lot of us did come from nothing, and we've been on the other end of the stick, so we know how that feeling is of feeling underpaid. And you can overpay. I've got a guy, man. I feel like I micromanage, and he's way up there in pay, man. So there's really no happy medium.
Okay. No, I know Verna was he hit on something, I think a couple of weeks ago, where he was like how he has like almost like a chill lounge in his business for his guys that didn't go out that day or whatever the case is. And I think some of that stuff kind of resonated with me, where it's like I've been trying to be more preserved, preserved about having extra guys come in and, pretty much waste their time just coming in and not going out, as a backup. But then I started to realize, God damn it, the guys that you think is going to show, they don't show.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be your most reliable guys. They're like, yeah. I got the text, I'll be there. Oh, boss, I overslept. Well, now you put somebody else in the situation, so now it's like, okay, you know what? I got a team. Every team is a team of 4 typically. If that team is working, everybody's coming in. And if it's obviously 3 men going out that day, then there'll be somebody on backup. That backup, we're gonna definitely try to find something for you to do. Help out, make sure the trucks are good for the day before they go out. Make sure the trucks that's in the yard that didn't go out are good. Make sure, do maintenance stuff around the warehouse or whatever the case is. Whatever it is, you come in and we'll figure it out. Obviously it's all unbillable time, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's a peace of mind. And we get those random main guys that just don't show up and, oh snap, hey, that backup just went out. So now he doesn't even have to do all that stuff, but we have maybe another backup from another crew that's going to help out that day. Whatever it is, just to keep them working and keep the warehouse organized, keep the trucks clean and organized. We're just trying to implement at this time.
When this is some of my thoughts sometimes. This is what I do. Being that we do pay a lot more than a lot of other moving companies in the area. My guys tend to walk a little bit different. You're not going to show up. You know what? Go somewhere else and work for less money. Go work somewhere where they're not going to pay you no travel time if you ain't driving. 0. Boop. Big old 0 egg. And it's worked to a certain degree because, if a guy don't show up or call in or something, and life happens, bro. You know what I mean? And I fell sick Monday, right? I felt so bad, dude. I literally just went home and went to bed at like 2:00. You know what I mean? And, life shows up to everyone. If you got 15, 20, 30, 50 employees, man, life is going to show up at all random times, and we have to always take that in consideration of life does show up, things do happen. But, and that's just knowing your guys as well, and I try not to dig. I've got a lot of guys, so I try not to dig too deep into too many of my guys' personal situations, but I do know about a lot of them personal situations, and just keeping a check on your guys. Unfortunately, we're dealing with some guys, man, that's got a lot of issues. Alcohol abuse issue, drug issues. Just issues. Living in hotel issues. But
yeah. Let me ask you guys, because I think we might have some technical issues. Can anybody see the live on their Facebook in the group?
Check.
I've been having technical difficulties all morning. My computer literally it cut off one time and then it cut off again. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Let me see. Yeah. I always have technical difficulties.
I see it.
Yeah, I see it. Melissa over there says she sees it too.
Okay. Yeah. Oscar said something about it says your content is not available yet.
Huh.
And I can see it on my phone, so I don't know. What about you, Cliff?
Yep, it's coming through.
I see it too.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one. Technology. All right. No, so other than that, it's all about giving back to your employees for sure. I know that, like I said, it's been a rough year, so it's like a lot of the incentives and perks that we would normally have in place, we kind of had to cut back on. There's been a lot of cuts that we had to make. And I think sometimes in a year like this, it's like hey, you can't just be that company that you were last year, where you had all these expenses that made you what essentially almost what you are today with your systems and processes. Sometimes you have to cut it as much as you humanly can. Try to avoid these long-term contracts for sure. Your best friend's Phil called me the other day. Angie's.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, nope. They was like, oh, don't you want some more customers? And also, nope.
No,
I'm all right.
customers.
So you know,
No, man.
but yeah, it's definitely avoiding these long-term contracts because that's what the market and the world is going in direction they're going in right now, where it's like everyone wants at least a 6-month term or a year term, and they just want to lock you in, and you're just like, damn, my money's kind of tied. Now, I never really try to burn bridges and just end a contract if I had a contract for a year or something like that, but it's almost to that point where it's just like, if it just gets overwhelming, it's like, what do? You almost have to feel like you got to burn a bridge. And I don't know, maybe they might try to take you to court. I've never been in a situation like that.
I would definitely burn that bridge with Angie's List, boy. They have burnt everybody that I know that I network with. You know, they're just garbage, man. You know, it's a waste of money. You know, there's other ways to market other than that. Platform was good years ago. That platform, and I've tried it all different types of ways, but you know, we were actually supposedly the exclusive because we paid the most in our area, the exclusive mover. And, you know, we're getting leads of, I need to take a desk that I bought from Walmart back to Walmart. And I mean, they're popping you for $30 for a lead like that. And you could tell that person $3 and it would be too much. Give me $3 and we'll go get it and pick it up and take it back. It's still too much, you know, but you know, there's other better lead source providers than Angie. Sorry to talk so badly about that, but I don't talk badly about much of nothing. But that one was just one that they really just ripped our head off, you know. When we really didn't even really need them. I'm a sucker sometimes, man. You know, I fall victim to okay, yeah, let's try it out for a year. For, you know, $3 a month, you know.
What was your SEO coming up as? Like, how were people finding you?
Right. But, you know, and we was with Angie's List for a year, man, and going back through the numbers, man.
You said they were finding you as cheap movers near me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you went and Googled cheap movers near me, dirt cheap movers near me, Angie's List was popping up. But I'm like, no wonder we're getting called. No wonder. And I mean, dude, we took off. I mean, we narrowed our category down to very minimum. Like, okay, no, we don't want to unload a truck for no one. We only want to do this type of move. Man, we was getting moved. I need to get a dining room chair moved and like all kind of stupid stuff. Like, dude, you know, and I guess there's a market. Everybody has a market in their place. But why pitch a moving company that says this is what we're looking for, this is the quality of moves that we're getting, and next thing you know, you're getting, you know, garbage bag moves. You know, people,
that makes sense.
You know, walk in the house, man, and people got their whole kitchen packed in 5 trash bags. Be careful with that. I got fine china in there.
No, I'm trying. Like, I feel like I feel like every moving company is trying to go for the high end customer. So at one point in time, it was just about, oh, well, hey, you know what? We want to get the job. You know, we're gonna have a reasonable price, and we just want to get the job. We're not, you know, we're not targeting any one particular customer. We just want, if you know, we get that high end customer. Oh snap, yo, we are doing it. We're killing it today. And then now it's just like, you know, the market is, yo, we don't really want to deal with the cheap customer. So every conversation you kind of hear, we don't want to deal with the cheap customer. So now it's like everybody's in that market of, we don't want to deal with these customers, but everybody's up here trying to deal with these customers. Somebody got to deal with these customers. So it's just like now, how do we kind of find that happy median? How do we find that balance? Like what, how are you guys segregating your customers to say, well, hey, this is the bare minimum I will accept and I will go, maybe this high. How are y'all really separating that?
We don't do discounts. I don't do it. I tell people I'm the Louis Vuitton and Apple and Moving. You can't get a discount for none of them. Why would I compromise my quality? Right? Like we just tell people straight up now, like if you want your move to go smoothly, if you want no stress, you want no problems, you're gonna pay for it. If you want a discount, like I can't compete with those $50 an hour Kijiji movers. It's not me, right?
Right.
I lost a job yesterday over $100.
Mm.
They didn't want to pay $100, and all right, go somewhere else. Right. Now, I'm lying. I do give discounts to I give 10% to frontline workers, healthcare workers, just as like a thank you for everything they've done over the last 3 years, keeping us safe so we can run our business. But very rarely do we give discounts. Very, very, very rarely.
Yeah, now, Phil, I know you missed it, but Collin, he says he kind of like all his moves are based around flat rate pricing. So he
Yeah,
doesn't. Okay. So yeah, no, I think that's an awesome concept. I know that in New York City, that's a big thing. We're in upstate New York, so it's kind of like more common to have an hourly rate up here. I've tried to dabble with trying to do the flat rate moving and stuff like that, but I feel like you can't pay your guys hourly at that point. You got to pay your guys a percentage of the move, because it just makes more sense versus them saying, well, hey, I was out here for 8-9 hours, but because you flat rated the customer at like 10 hours or whatever the case is, or 6 hours, we can't get paid for the extra 2 hours that we spent out here. So it's like, well, if you're going to do flat rate, doing a percentage might be a better way of looking at it.
I like that. I like what Collin has going there. We were actually thinking we tested out on a few jobs, especially the ones that we've laid eyes on a flat rate. And that's just kind of knowing your guys and working out the kinks of knowing, okay, this is going to be, an 8-hour job, no more, no less. And I mean, you can, regardless at the end of the day, everything is, whether it's flat rate or anything, you came up with those numbers from an hourly rate standpoint, right?
Yeah, we base it off an hourly rate.
Yeah.
We definitely do.
So, you got some, I heard another guy mentioning something about doing his moves off of the square footage of the home. I don't really know that formula to even remotely even do it, but we test it out a lot for, we do a lot of locals. I think that's a good idea, to be honest. That's a good deal because it's allowing everyone to do their job properly. And I'm sure your damage, your damage and your things are probably very low with that concept because the guys are not being pressured. Because I think all of us have been out in the truck and at some point felt that customer rushing you.
Right. So there's data now. Like we've done, quite a bit of moves in our first 14 months. So we have data now. So what we found is, so first of all, my damages are under 1%. So
nice.
We're very, very low. And we don't do the 60 cents a pound. Like we're paying out for damages. So what we found after looking at the data with there's two things. Doing the flat rate model allows us to schedule extra guys in all the time, right? So if everybody shows up, it's fine. We'll send an extra guy on a move. It doesn't matter. The move will get done quicker. We're still making our money. If somebody doesn't show up, we have extra guys in. So we're really good on that front, right?
So let me cut in there. So how are you paying your guys when it comes to that? Is it a percentage or hourly?
No, so we're working right now on a formula to pay them a percentage. It's really difficult to figure out because there's lots of variables on these moves. Sometimes the flat rated jobs go longer than we anticipated, so we want to make sure that it's fair for everybody. I think what we're leaning towards is probably having a mixture of both. So some of our key guys will be getting piecework or percentage, and then like most other people be getting hourly. We have Philip, I'm with you, man. Like we overpay everybody. And the thing is, my expectation is that they perform at an elite level consistently. The minute you stop doing that, I will fire you. Right? I'm not afraid to fire. I just fired a guy that's been with me for 10 years.
Yeah, we did too. That's why
Right.
I've been in the field.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to make decisions because now with my company, we have big goals. We're looking to become a large moving company. We have a goal of putting 2,000 trucks on the road, right? So I can't have bullshit. I can't have this bullshit. So anyway, the data that we found from the customer side is that there's less pressure, right? So we've all been in the situation where the customer starts watching the clock. They start putting a little bit of pressure on the movers. Things go wrong, right? And then who gets blamed? The movers get blamed for everything. Doesn't matter. We all get blamed, right? So what we found with this flat rating model is the customers aren't watching the clock. And I say that to people in the survey. You're going to go get an hourly job. What are you going to do when these guys are smoking cigarettes every 5 minutes? You're going to start watching your watch. Now you're going to put pressure. Now things are going to go wrong because now they're going to cut corners.
Well,
So
we
there's no
still want to.
pressure.
Yeah, I say we still want to have some type of standards though, because obviously and that again, it comes down to you that having that lease status and understanding with your employees. But it's just like, damn, how many breaks are you going to take? Granted, the job is flat rate.
Right. Like I got one of my guys. Man, this guy, I'm telling you, I've managed thousands and thousands of movers in my career, and this guy is by far the best, like the best person I've ever had work with me. And we pay him well. Like we're paying him $35 an hour, and like we pay him like really well, right? Like, and this guy's such a beast, bro. Like, yo, this guy will go on a 15-hour day, no lunch. And I'm like, yo, you got to eat. Take my credit card. Go eat. Go buy lunch. No, nothing. He just wants to get it done.
Take your
Right?
credit card. You get $35 an hour.
Yeah, bro. So when they go out of town, like not all my movers, but like we have gas cards as well. But like the ones that I really trust, I give them my credit card. Just that it's easier like for them to get fuel, or if they want to stop and grab some coffees or whatever, like just like we trust them, man. Like I don't hire like the typical movers, man. Like most of my guys don't even smoke cigarettes.
Oh wow.
Like they don't drink, they don't do drugs. Like we get rid of that shit, man. Like I fired a guy a couple weeks ago. He's been with me for same thing, 10 years, 11 years. And he's developed, and like he's older now. He's like 55, kind of at the end of his career, but he's still useful. But he's got a little bit of a drinking problem, man. And I sent these guys, they went on a job about 4 hours away. They had to stay in a hotel. He's not a driver, he was a passenger, but he thought it was a good idea to drink beers in the truck.
Oh man.
And then he got so drunk that he pissed his pants at the hotel. And I fired him immediately. And he was all like, he made me out to be the bad guy. And it's like, you know what? I overpay you guys. You guys know what my standard is. If you don't meet it, you're gone, period. There's 7 million people in Toronto. I can find a team of good people. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, they start to accept that new pay rate as a norm.
Yeah.
And they start to let their performance start to slip.
They start to get comfortable. They start to feel like, my kindness is a weakness. Don't get it twisted, man. I grew up in the projects, bro. Like I'm a different guy. Like I will, right? Don't let me bringing you Starbucks and putting you in Nike uniforms and sending you to baseball games and basketball games fool you. At the end of the day, you gotta perform. And if you don't perform, I'll find somebody who will.
Like
Period.
that. What's your thought, Phil?
Yeah, and I mean that's just as real as it get right there, buddy. You know, and that's the way we have to. That's the way we have to be. You got to stay firm on our goal and what we have incorporated, the people that we have incorporated into our business. When I first started the business, man, this business, man, I advertised a lot on Craigslist way back. And of course, you already know what kind of moves I got out of that crappy moves, but we did them. I mean, we all started somewhere, and I had one of my guys, one of the 4 guys that I let go in the peak season. The guy just had a problem with showering, dude. I started getting customers saying he was burping in their face and freaking farting, and freaking the guys didn't even want to be around him. I mean, and he stunk like hell, dude, and it was just a bad look for our company, and this is something else we have to watch out for, because our guys are the face of our company. They might go out there and work their ass off and show up every day. And then you get these guys, man, some of these guys, man, they're nasty, dude. They stink. You're bad when you show up stinking.
We had a guy that reminds me, this was years ago. So I worked at 2 Men in a Truck for like 8 years as a general manager. And I got a call. We had a guy, I forget the guy's name. He's an old redhead guy. And in the summer, he used to cut his jeans into shorts, but one year he cut them too short. They were like booty shorts, right? And I had a customer call. His name was Doug. We used to call him Dougie Fresh. And it was the most awkward call I've ever received in my life. And she goes, "Hey, the move's going great. But one of your employees is taking apart my dining room table, and his testicle is hanging out of his shorts." I just want to know, can you call him and ask him to put his testicle away? What do you there's nothing I can say, right?
Hey man, put your balls up, man.
Yeah, man, we had to call Doug and be like, "Doug, what are you doing, man? You gotta put those things away, man. That's that's not really professional, man." And so I get look, man, we have our challenges too, and at the end of the day, I always say, hiring movers is different, because people, let's be real, right? Nobody wakes up and says, "Hey mom, I'm going to be a mover for my career."
Right.
Nobody. Right?
That
look,
sounds like
people.
What you talk about a week ago or so.
I'll tell you, true strength is firm yet flexible. And Collin said it best. Communication. It's about communication. And ultimately, I would love to work with any of you because of the standards that you hold. And if I were to not hold that standard, it's up to me to stand up and realize that and communicate it. Just as it's up to all of you because it's am I holding the standard? We always have to ask ourselves that question. But at the end of the day, we want to win and we want our clients to win. That's right. The name of the game. And if I'm not holding a standard, it's up to me to walk away. I should walk away.
I'll fire myself.
Yeah. I want that business to look amazing. That's the name of the game. Right. There is no competition. That's the funny thing. That's right. Competition doesn't even exist. No. We created in our head there's not enough moves going on. There will always be enough moves. The question is, are you communicating, and are you communicating to the right people? You're not communicating to the right people, Collin, respect. 14 months, you got your stuff down, pat.
Thank you.
Like, hey, this is what we do. This is how we do it. This is why we're great at what we do. And then there's another mover who might do hourly, and they know all the reasons why you should do hourly. You got to go do your research. You got to
Yep.
go find your tribe and why your tribe chooses you instead of someone else. Just like the dating game is like, oh, there's no one I can marry anymore. Everybody's getting married.
There's someone.
Competition's an illusion.
All right,
Well,
guys.
so
Oh, go ahead, Colin.
no, I was just gonna say is what's interesting is AMJ Campbell in the US?
Yeah, I gotta
No?
know who that is.
I'm not sure.
So they're one of the biggest in Canada. They're like, and Two Men in a Truck is obviously huge out here too. So what's interesting is obviously customers are getting quotes from other people, right? Like we know we're not ignorant. We know they're not, like, most customers aren't just calling us. But what's amazing is the last 6 months, man, we've been competing directly against Two Men in a Truck and AMJ Campbell, which tells me that the public is putting my brand in the same category as the big boys, which is good.
Timing
Definitely,
and
definitely.
positioning. You got your positioning down, Colin. Respect. 15
Definitely.
years of executive leadership.
Yeah, I had to eat shit for 15 years.
Oh
and
yeah,
then,
yeah.
but I wouldn't change it, because the last 15 years gave me all the tools I needed to say, you know what? And the crazy thing is, just so you guys know, this Relocation Engineers, I've owned this domain for 7 years.
Mm.
Wow. All right, guys. So I was gonna say
All
that
right.
we are 10 minutes over the hour, or almost about 10 minutes over the hour. So definitely great conversation. Colin, we'll definitely love to have you back in the future.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully Country Phil won't be on the truck the rest of the summer like this.
Yeah, it happened, brother.
And hey, like I said, if anybody needs some additional training, mentorship, hey, we do have Clifford, the business fighter out here, who's definitely, willing to definitely get your mind in the right spot. I'm definitely coaching business owners as well to make sure that, hey, you're moving businesses as profitable as it can be. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out. We're here for you, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right.
Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, Colin, thanks for the insight, brother.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you guys,
much
man.
appreciated.
All right.
All right, we'll talk. Have a
Bye.
good day,
Take care,
guys.
guys.
Bye.